All right, so today we're going to talk about basically monotheism, which I call man-o-theism because there really isn't, and there's like 8 or 10 different monotheistic faiths, and yet there's none that are female run.
Right.
So
Tells you something, doesn't it?
yeah. So and also we're going to deal with how it not just monotheism itself, because that's kind of boring to me. I also wanted to address how it relates to sexism, how it relates to the state, how it relates to hierarchy support in general, and other kind of things like that. And then we're also going to read a little bit of on my anarchist stuff.
Okay.
But this is going to be our last video together.
Oh, okay.
You and me are going to be splitting ways because I know you have a lot of stuff. You're dropped one of your shows.
Yeah.
I know that it's just life happens. So
Yeah.
I enjoy all the stuff we've done together. So it's not like any. And then also, I personally am going to be moving December 1st anyway. So
Right. Yeah. I knew the day was coming. I just wasn't sure when it was happening.
yeah, but I feel like in your situation, it's better for you to not have to deal with me, and you just be able to focus on your stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I know. Like you say, like I drop the loose wires because I can't do the prep work for it. I just don't have the time. So
right, you don't have time. So I feel like we've done a lot, and I'm really glad we're doing this one too, especially before we end, because everybody knows about monotheism.
Right.
It's finally something that everyone kind of goes, "Oh yeah, I know, I know that shit."
Yeah, I at least have some understanding of what this is.
Right, exactly. So first, I want to do though is read my because it relates to this hierarchy stuff, right? So that with monotheism, my 3 stages of no hierarchy anarchism theory. And the reason I put this together, anyways, it wasn't like I actually believe it's 3 stages. Is exactly. I'm just trying to because I think it's all at the same time, really. So it's not what I mean to say is it's not like Marxism.
It's not one then the other. Yeah.
Marxist-Leninism that says that you start with hierarchy and dictatorship, and then eventually you get no dictatorship and no hierarchy. Somehow. Magic.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's that. But I wrote this up kind of like my response to them.
Okay.
In a sense, not like an attack against Marxist-Leninists in general.
Right.
Just saying, I don't believe that. And this is what I believe in a sense. So, not like a total critique of them, but like saying, okay, that to me, that's just absolute nonsense. You don't more hierarchy and then you end up with less hierarchy.
Right.
What the fuck? I mean, it makes no sense to me, especially like monotheism. The reason monotheism promotes hierarchy is it literally wants one God,
Right.
So the object of the one king or the one ruler or the one whatever, one dictator, the one proletariat or no dictatorship of the proletariat. All this is the same fucking bullshit. It's just hierarchy to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
In a sense. So go ahead and read
Sure.
my things.
Yeah, so you've got my 3 stages to no hierarchy anarchism theory. Stage 1, self-related, dignity being persuasion, philosophical and ethical framework to explain the inherent worth of all beings, all human beings. Stage 2, other related, relationship anarchy, persuasion, anti-hierarchical philosophy with the goals of treating all relationships, platonic, romantic, familial, economic, etc., as equally valuable and deserving of care. And stage 3, group related, prefigurative politics, persuasion, philosophical and ethical framework, emphasizing a form of axiological virtue ethics, where the morality of actions is rooted in the character and behavior of the human beings involved and the consistency between means and ends, with the goals of building a new society within the shell of the old society, without waiting for some future revolution. This is achieved by living out the ethical values and anti-hierarchical social structures in the here and now of the group desires for the future with no hierarchy, anarchism society that is hoped for.
Right, and after I posted that, right, and so this Marxist Leninist, probably. He says communist, but we know that's just
Usually that's what that means.
usually when you just say communist, not like communist anarchist or something,
Yeah.
then generally you mean Marxist Leninist in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good guess. So anyway, so this person is a communist, and they responded to my thing, and this is what the person had wrote. He wrote, regardless, after reading my thing, right? He said, regardless where a person is on the left spectrum, we all will have to become anarchists to get out of this mess. I thought, wow, my shit is hitting like a bomb.
It's pretty good.
Right? And he goes, insubordination is not a crime, it's a moral imperative. You can't leave your job, make trouble while you're there. Only a piece of shit wants to be a boss. Leadership is being responsible. I thought that was really good though, because saying that no matter where you're at, he's realizing the quality. Because that's what I was trying to tell you before. Because I'm an axiologist, I try to focus on the quality of things, because then people can relate more. They get like, oh, that's the value. Once you grasp the value of something, it's easier to see why it's important.
Yep. It makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
So once I break down anarchism and show the just inherent, justice and ethics and humanity in it, who the fuck could really say, like he said, who can say on the left that this isn't the way to do things?
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's great. That worked better than I hoped.
Right? No, that's awesome. For sure.
But as you know, to me too, it's also not because I'm saying I want to praise Damien for coming up with this. I am just trying to explain what's already there. Anarchism has already been a theory for 100 years.
Right.
And I just have a different take on it because I focus on value on everything. And so, and I do understand too that people change your values, change your whole life. So it's a really big deal, because that really at the foundation of everything. Why do you do anything, Corey? Why do you care to do his show at all?
Right.
Let alone do it
Exactly.
with me, but just to do it at all.
Yeah. Why do anything, right?
Right. That's why I always tell people, as an axiologist, I'm an anti-nihilist, because nihilism says that they don't understand or use value. That sounds insane to me.
Right.
Or certainly foolish, because holy fuck, you go through your life and don't assess value? Wow. That's dangerous. Anyways.
And just false, right? Like obviously
you just don't. So even this, I told this one guy, he goes like, okay, Damien, since you promote yourself as an axiologist, I'm going to start promoting myself as a nihilist. I go, oh, it sounds like you think nihilism has value.
Yeah, that's right.
I said, what if you're anyways, I don't want to go into all that, because my point too, my point really isn't try to attack people. It's to show them why our way is the best. It just is.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't even, but so, and then I wrote another thing too I want you to read, because where it says stop self-oppression, because see, why the people are allowing hierarchy is this.
Right.
We're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. Stop self-oppression. The longest oppressor one must face is oneself. We have to decide to be better. It is not going to happen in apathy, indifference, or selfishness. We must challenge ourselves to be better than the world we were raised in, which taught us to favor or welcome our servitude under a world of masters, supporting their forced ideas as if they were one's own thoughts. We are more than mindless conspirators in our own servitude to their desired end. The world's will not being your own will or domination of your every thought that is against equality and liberation, and thus thriving on hate. A world designed for the few over the many. We can be a light to the world. When we break free of hierarchical thinking and rise to self-mastery. Being you freely is a revolutionary act in a world that demands you be the same. Are you mentally free or just some copy of the world they made? May you stop self-oppression.
Right.
This actually it fits pretty neatly with a couple of things that I've been reading lately. Actually, like I've been my local reading group. We've been reading "Pedagogy of the Oppressed" by Paolo Freire. Yeah, and in that he talks specifically about having the oppressor's mindset in yourself and having to dialogue with others on an equal level to get out of that. And then also this book that I'm reading for an upcoming interview, where someone is talking about radical unlearning of the ways of the world. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, I think it all ties together pretty neatly.
right on. And like I said too, it also to me really goes to the hierarchy, but also the monotheism.
Mhm.
Because the reason people favor this is because we're taught to.
Right,
Because I always think, well, someone has to be in control. You just go, God, you think like a slave.
right. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
I
It's
thought you said
it's
you liked freedom.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the well, actually, before you do that, let's read the thing on anarchism. I sent you that meme where it says
Yep.
anarchism is not romantic fable.
Yes, anarchism is not a romantic fable, but the hard headed realization based on 5,000 years of experience that we cannot entrust the management of our lives to kings, priests, politicians, generals, and county commissioners. And it's Edward Abbey quote.
Right. Which I think it relates to what we're going to do. So now let's go to the link for monotheism.
All
All right. So
right.
the first picture is just showing that to me, 7,000 years of evolution in a sense of the Sky Father God and how it blended into other sort of things in China and Turkic, Mongolic, but also then the bottom part is three different branches. I think one's the Asian Eastern Steppe branch, and I list all these different deities that relate to the Father Sky God, which
Right.
is a shit ton of deities. Then a Middle Eurasian and the Sky God, and I list all these other ones that relate to it. And then the European Pi, Proto-Indo-European, they're different ones. So I think actually they're all to me related. It's not like one of them is the thing. I think they're all. I think really, like I said, I think it comes from Middle East,
Right.
and then everything else is just a secondary version of the same thing or similar thing. It's not exactly the same, but anyway. So go ahead and start reading where it says broad definition of monotheism.
Sure. The broader definition of monotheism characterizes the traditions of Babism or Babism and the Baha'i faith, Balinese Hinduism, Dai or Daism, Chino Daoism, Christianity, Deism, Ekankar, Hindu sects such as Shaivism and Vaishnavism, Islam, Judaism, Mandaism, Rastafari, Seiko Noi, Sikhism, Tengrism, Tenriko, uh, Yazdism, or Zoroastrianism, and elements of pre monotheistic thought are found in early religions such as Atanism, ancient Chinese religion, and Yahwism.
Right. And like I told you, imagine all those things, which is quite a few, right?
Yeah,
And not one of them is female.
right.
So,
That seems a
but
little,
if,
yeah.
but if you remember, like I said, really after 7,000 to 5,000 is when the male clans start killing everybody and taking over. Now, that, like I've said before too, that doesn't mean female run clans sort of like completely disappeared.
Right.
What they did is like the Democrats and Republicans. They say they have different things, but they're all kind of running on right, now, liberalism. I mean, neoliberalism.
Right.
So they're all sort of neoliberals. They're all sort of like, doing the same sort of thing. They just have different things and they add little, extras or whatever
Yep,
to it.
for sure. Yeah, like one will pretend to be like anti-racist while still, talking about
Right,
free
right,
markets
exactly.
and yeah,
But I'm just making comments. So it's kind of a similar thing to me.
right.
So
Yeah,
then
yeah, I get it.
Right. Yeah. So monotheism, which I call Man-o-theism, as all monotheistic religions are male God led. They or use, in a sense, male pronouns because they don't use female pronouns. They always go, "Oh no, ours doesn't even have a gender." And I
Right.
go, "Oh really? So why do you call him he, him?"
Right.
And if you say that it doesn't, pronouns don't matter, then why do you care so much about people having different ones?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, get the fuck out of here with your bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so wait, so a genderless person, right? Like I feel like I'm dual gendered. I could use any pronoun I want. You're cool with it.
Yeah, like if you were to put she, her on your driver's
Exactly.
license, they wouldn't freak out, right?
Right? Because I mean, you're allowed to do that. If the deity can do it, how can you say I can't?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. But anyways, but my point is they don't do that. Every single one
Yeah,
is male pronouns. And they
of
always go,
course.
well, it's back then and language.
And they even get mad when people start to try and say that it's she, her, or like,
Oh yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Well, speaking of which, there is some Muslim female feminists or whatever. I don't know if they're feminists exactly, but females in Islam that are starting to use the she her instead of he him
right,
because they're like, hey, didn't you say it's genderless?
right. So it could be
Oh,
whatever, right? Yeah, for
woo.
sure. That's
So
awesome.
of course, personally, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Go,
that's great.
go for
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
So, but anyway, and this is true. Like I said, even when they try to say that their monotheistic gods are genderless, because did you even know that Judaism supposedly God is genderless?
I did not. Yeah, I did not.
Talk about that being some horse shit. Like, oh yeah, because we all know that to be a fucking fact. Just ask a
Right.
Christian.
Yeah. It's very
Well, that's the other thing
strange.
too. Why, it's not even just he, him. Why do you use the word father and
Right.
son?
Yeah,
Why not daughter and mother?
for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
It's
don't
pretty
try to
clear,
bullshit
right?
me. Right.
It's yeah, it's pretty clear what they're doing. They definitely want this to be a masculinized god, right?
At the same time, they want to say God is genderless, which is
Yeah.
just absolute horseshit. Of course,
It's
if they
yeah.
so they're accepting two different gender persuasions. So why can't I do that?
Yeah.
See, I mean,
Or
their argument is horseshit.
or it's like the male as the default, right? Like that's why
Well,
they
yeah, really, huh? I
Yeah,
bet
for
you that's
sure.
what they see it as for damn sure. Good point. Yes, exactly. And I just feel like all it is expressing male superiority to some extent or another,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
Yeah.
So why basically are all monotheistic gods have a male god? So go ahead and read after that. It says there
Okay.
are no female goddesses.
There are no female goddesses in monotheistic faiths, and some monotheistic religion gods, like Allah in Islam, are seen by some as genderless but use he, him. That is the same for the god of Sikhism, who is addressed, or Sikhism, is addressed in male pronouns but is seen by some as male and female, gendered. They never use female pronouns for any of the 10 monotheistic religions. Damien, Judaism, the religion I'm most familiar with.
This is a person sort of
Oh,
attacking me,
okay.
thinking that I'm wrong. Oh, Damien, this is a Jewish person. Damien, don't be saying Jewish just in that whole thing. I'm like, oh yeah, because everyone totally knows that the Jews have always believed that the God could be male or female.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what?
Yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
funny too is I basically he said this and I added the example because he tries to say that well there's male and female things and I said yeah the telegram which is actually female but how they say it is male so
Oh.
it's literally it's in other words they switch the gender which is even more fucked up
Hmm.
which and then they say that we're not allowed to do that right we can't switch our genders we can't be defined as a thing and a female or male and then switch to the other gender which
Right.
they try to do with their god so right? It's just
Yeah.
absolute horseshit. See what I'm saying, though? So,
Yeah.
Damien, Judaism is a religion most familiar with alternatives, male and female names. No, they don't. That's what I'm trying to say. What they do is they have things like a telegram, which is the thing that supposedly Moses heard, that 9 Inch Nails, uses that phrase or whatever. That is actually a female phrase.
Right.
But they never use a female name. And then El Shaddai, is a male. So those two things, in a sense, are different genders, but that's not how they do the religion.
Right.
So go ahead and read what I said, the AI overview.
Sure. So the AI overview, the Hebrew tetragrammaton, YHWH, is consistently referred to with masculine pronouns and masculine grammatical forms in the Hebrew Bible. El Shaddai relates to male pronouns in traditional Hebrew usage, as all pronouns referring to God in the Hebrew Bible are masculine, even when using feminine metaphors.
See, like I said right there, even when using feminine metaphors. So as soon as they see a feminine metaphor, like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that. Because, I mean, if it didn't matter, Corey, right? Like they supposedly lie and say, because, religions love to lie about every fucking thing, including words.
Yeah.
They literally, it's a female thing, and yet they go, yeah, this is male. And then say they're not sexist.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They have to switch everything back and forth so that it fits the
Consistent with their narrative.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Right. Their narrative of male dominance and control, which is really what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm just not stupid enough to fall for their bullshit.
Yeah, that's right.
And then read the next one.
So the form Yahweh with Nikud is now almost universally accepted among biblical and Semitic linguistics scholars, though the vocalization Jehovah continues to have wide usage, especially in Christian traditions. AI overview. The Bible uses male pronouns for God, also referred to by the name Jehovah or Yahweh, primarily because masculine language was the standard for expressing God in the original Hebrew and Greek texts. Examples include God being called Father and King, and masculine pronouns being used in the Old Testament name Yahweh. AI. Oh, you were going to say something?
No. I was going to say that now we're switching to China, just so people understand. Because I'm showing it's the same thing. That's all.
Right. AI overview, monotheism, and the god Tian. The relationship between the Chinese deity Tian, or heaven, and monotheism is complex, with some scholars identifying monotheistic-like trends in ancient Chinese religion, while others argue that it was never a true exclusive monotheism. The perception of Tian has changed significantly over time, evolving from an anthropomorphic sky god to a more impersonal cosmic principle. Monotheism is the belief in a single god, while Tian, meaning heaven or sky, is a concept in ancient Chinese religion that evolved from an impersonal power or nature to a supreme, sometimes personalized, deity. The relationship between monotheism and Tian is complex. Early Chinese thought can be seen as having a form of monotheistic-like belief, with the identification of Tian with Shangdi, the supreme ruler. And the term Tian is used today in various Chinese religions as a translation for the monotheistic god of Abrahamic religions. That's interesting.
Well, the reason is because it kind of is similar. Like I told you, they really, at the first chart on the top or the first picture, it is this, that is what I'm trying to show
you. It's the same, basically. Yeah.
Amazingly, it's kind of saying, yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
And it also relates to the Great Spirit. Tan relates to the Great Spirit, because the Great Spirit, they always go like this up to the sky, right? And then they say, well, we're not exactly worshiping the sun. Yeah, I know. You're worshiping the whole fucking sky.
Right.
But you focus on the sun as the main element of it. And the reason that is because it used to be a sun god.
Right.
And how do we know that, Corey? Because the sky that you worship is the day sky without clouds and without rain.
Right.
So the day and the sun,
Yeah, that's
which we've
right.
talked about before. Because because they try to. That's why it's so hard to learn religion, because they lie so fucking much about everything. Even look at gender, they lie about.
Right.
They fucking just lie, 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 lie. That's also why I hate too when I say religions are a bunch of liars. They go, oh no, they believe it. It's just wrong, and I'm like, you don't know what you're talking. They lie, like
Yeah.
all the fucking time.
Yeah. And on some level, they have to know it because they're contradicting themselves often.
Right.
So
the word is female, but we say it's male.
Right.
What?
Like
And
that's
then
a
we
lie.
go, well, it's really genderless, but we're only going to use male pronouns. Like,
Yeah.
and yet you have a problem with trans people. What?
Yeah. Very strange.
Or like my mom had a problem with me having a male first name and a female second name.
Right.
And I said, yeah, but I feel too gendered. I want to have a male and female name. Fuck you. I mean,
Yep.
but it was wild. I couldn't believe it. How much people fucking care about something they supposedly they shouldn't care about. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah.
Call me Damien Marie. Who cares?
Right.
Like, who got hurt? Really, Corey?
Zero.
Because I put a female fucking middle name. Oh my god, the
Yeah.
world has ended.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
yet, their God uses female things, and they switch it to a male thing, and then at the same time, they also throw in, yeah, but it's actually either double gendered or no gendered. You're like,
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're telling the truth. All right, keep going.
All right. God Tian, originally Tian referred to the physical sky. It later evolved to represent both an impersonal force and a supreme being. During the Zhou dynasty, Tian became closely identified with Shangdi, the supreme god of the preceding Shang dynasty. Tian and Shangdi are often used interchangeably to refer to the singular supreme deity in Chinese religion. In modern usage, Tian can be used as a non-religious translation for God in Abrahamic religions and is a common name for a universal deity.
Right, universal deity, right? Right, that's what we're saying in a sense. There was a myth of a universal deity, and everybody has it.
Right, right. Yeah. Practices such as the annual sacrifice to heaven at the Temple of Heaven in Beijing honor the highest deity, Huangtian, Shangdi. Tian's history and relation to monotheism. Early pre-dynastic eras, some scholars propose that ancient Chinese belief centered on a single supreme deity, Shangdi, or above sovereign, who was later associated with Tian, like the Hebrew god. This original concept may have represented a monotheistic high god before other traditions and deities gained prominence. A Zhou dynasty, 1046 to 256 BCE. During this period, Tian was a supreme god who governed the world, granted legitimacy to rulers via the mandate of heaven, and received worship from the emperor. While Tian was the principal deity, this system was not strictly monotheistic, as lesser deities and ancestral spirits were also worshipped. Classical Chinese philosophy. Philosophers like Confucius and Mozi continued to view Tian as a source of moral order and a benevolent, all-seeing being. The Mohists even approached a form of exclusive monotheism by arguing that the purpose of lesser spirits was simply to carry out Tian's will. However, later philosophical traditions, particularly Neo-Confucianism, focused on Tian as an abstract, impersonal, cosmic principle rather than a personified god. Influence of Western missionaries. In the 19th and 20th centuries, some Western missionaries identified parallels between the worship of Shangdi, Tian, and the Abrahamic god. They argued that ancient Chinese texts provided evidence for an original monotheism, which they believed had degenerated over time. This view, however, is not the consensus among modern scholars. Why Tian is not a typical monotheistic deity. The ancient Chinese understanding of Tian differs from the concept of God in Abrahamic religions for several key reasons. Coexistence of other gods. Even when Tian was worshipped as the supreme deity, it was not an exclusive practice. Ancestor worship and the veneration of local and nature spirits have always been integral to Chinese religious practice.
So pause for a second. So when it says ancestral spirits are somehow, related to Tan not being a monotheistic god, what they're really saying is that ancestral spirits can be gods.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and this goes back to I've heard some archaeologists will say, "Oh, well, no one ever turns their family into God." Like, well, then you haven't read Chinese and a lot of other stuff too.
Right.
And literally, the most kings were considered to be sons of God. So it's just and I know, like I said to you before, I'm not like attacking archaeologists. I know their focus is on the science and data and stuff. So they're not understanding the little peculiarities, maybe sometimes, of what the myths are really portraying. Especially as we've already said, done. A lot of times these myths, if you just read how it is, you're not grasping how they're lying.
Right.
And so you have to like figure it out, or what's saying, or how it relates to the bigger content assess. Like they'll go, well, I used to worship the sky. Well, which one? The night sky? Oh, no, the day sky. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, I'm just making a comment that you have to really think about what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
And most people, of course, don't.
Yeah, for sure. No, they take it at face value, right?
Take it at face value and not realize these people are fucking lying to you.
Yeah.
or maybe they're misunderstanding what's really going on.
Yeah.
This is transcendent versus
transcendence versus immanence. In some interpretations, Tian was a distant, transcendent figure who was too remote for ordinary people to worship directly. Its will was instead accessed via ancestral spirits who acted as intermediaries. This differs from the personal immediate relationship common in many monotheistic traditions. Pantheistic and impersonal aspects. Over time, the concept of Tian evolved to be less anthropomorphic and more aligned with an impersonal cosmic force or natural order. This blurred the line between theistic belief and more pantheistic or naturalistic views of the cosmos.
Right, which sometimes I feel that the Great Spirit in the Americas is kind of like Tan, probably relates to Tan.
Right.
And you can see that it has this sort of not, fixed thing.
Yeah, it's often, like you say, not a person or a being you can directly pray to. It's like the thing that, yeah.
Right.
Fluidity of classification. Scholars note that standard Western categories like monotheism and polytheism do not neatly fit the syncretic nature of Chinese religion. As such, Tian worship is best understood on its own terms rather than being forced into a foreign classification.
Which I personally feel that's just nonsense.
Yeah.
That's once again, that's like I was trying to explain it. Well, because you have to break it down, and then once you break it down, then you understand how it relates. Like like I said, if they say, "Oh, I worship the great sky," and like I said, then I ask, "Well, which sky? Daytime, nighttime? Oh, only daytime." So then just the time that so is it early in the morning? Oh no, mid noon. Well, fuck. So you mean the fucking greatest sun?
The brightest part of the day,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to, like I was saying, is you have to critically interpret what they're doing, not just like you said, take it at face value. Oh, just sky, or heaven just means whatever. Oh, so does heaven mean at night? Oh no. Oh, so it's not all heaven. You get my point. I mean, it's anyways. Good, keep reading.
Sure. The problem has always been the inherent inequality of hierarchy. AI overview. Hierarchy undermines social equality and well-being. Hierarchies concentrate power and authority, creating unequal social relations where some occupy superior positions, while others are treated as inferiors. Researchers have linked this inequality to lower levels of well-being for those on the lower rungs.
Right, which both of us not being in the high rungs absolutely fucking understand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then the next shows 5,000 years of birth of the state, and the military, religion gets a military power and influence. And it shows the hierarchy of the king priest on top, and then the priestly nobles, and then the sort of scholars and scribes and merchants and, craftspeople or commoners. And then way at the bottom is the fucking slaves.
Right.
And it's very similar to feudalism. And that's also very similar to capitalism, because to me, if you really look at all these, what really is the theme they all totally have? Hierarchy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always got to put like certain people on top and everybody
And
else.
then certain levels, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, is just getting, worse and worse towards the bottom. And the bottom is just totally shit. But everybody on top, in a sense, is benefiting from all the people being crushed on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's just, this is hierarchy. So, and to think otherwise, that's why, like I was saying before, to someone, I said, he said capitalism is the only problem. And I said, well, and I don't agree with that. I just don't.
Yeah.
Hierarchy is, if you're going to say an only problem, hierarchy is almost an only problem. If you remove hierarchy, you cannot have capitalism.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
If you remove hierarchy, you can't have the state. If you remove hierarchy, we can't say which gender is better, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. So then women can't be less. Trans people can't be less, right? If there's no fucking no hierarchy, like literally, like almost, that's why I say that no hierarchy is my kind of anarchism. And I focus on it hardcore, because when you realize that actually solves, can you have a government and a state where they fucking run over us with hierarchy? Yes. Without hierarchy, no.
Yeah, exactly. I on a recent video me and my interview guest talked about it as though it was authority. We used the word authority a lot. And this is something that a lot of like your statist communists really believe there is always going to be an authority. And I just don't accept that.
Well, yeah, I don't either. In fact, I reject it completely. If we want a truly ethical, equality run, humanity driven society, that you just can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, or you read, even science proves it hurts us.
Right. Yep.
It's not like we're just saying, oh, well, I don't like it because I want to do what I want. Literally, it's harmful to people. It's not good.
Yeah, for sure.
So go ahead and read stuff under it.
To me, it is likely that the spread of statism and hereditary hierarchy were factors in the rise of monotheism out of polytheism. I understand this is a somewhat simplified description, but it adds understanding to the larger processes involved. Hereditary hierarchy means classness is somewhat fixed. Monotheism means you can't just replace an old god for a new one, as with polytheism. And because you only have one god, nothing that said God does can be rejected. Who else are you going to worship or ask help from? Thus, the biblical God could allow the Jewish Holocaust and still be seen as a God worthy of worship. AI overview.
Right, isn't that, how's that?
Yeah, it reminds me, there was a while back like a documentary series, a documentary or something about the rise of like non-belief or rejection of God in concentration camps, because often people would be like, well, how could our God let us suffer through this, right?
Exactly. If there was such thing as a just God, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking simple. Nor would a just God allow the fucking Israel to do genocide against fucking the people in Palestine.
That's right. Yeah.
Or the Americas, to be, genocided by the fucking Europeans.
Yep.
Or Africa.
That's right. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it seems pretty clear, right? Like from a believer's perspective, that like, especially considering like Islam and Judaism and Christianity all kind of have the same God, and then but somehow that God allows one group to murder thousands and thousands and thousands of another group that also worships that God. And I can't wrap my head around the justifications for it.
Well, I mean, how I see it is, it's not the violence and stuff is just people want land. They just greed. I don't think we can. To me personally, I try to look at it rationally. I don't think we can say they're doing it for their religion.
No, that's right.
I think they're doing it for like a global politics or land or greed or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think
I think often you get like the portrayal of using for religious belief or defense of religious belief, but yeah, it's always for power or land or resources of something.
Right, so, because even if like the Christians in America, you know, with the Native Americans, nothing says you're allowed to take everybody's land.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. It doesn't say that. In fact, it does say care about the needy, care about the neighbor. How do you care about your neighbor if you're stealing their fucking land?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it just, yeah. But anyway,
American Christianity is a very bizarre.
Yeah. So let's read about the spread of statism and hierarchy.
Sure. So we've got the spread of statism and hereditary hierarchy as factors in the rise of monotheism out of polytheism. The statement that the spread of statism and hereditary hierarchy were factors in the rise of monotheism is a valid argument, supported by a broad range.
That's basically AI responding to me saying that.
Right.
Because I said, you know, is this, you know, a valid thing? And they said, yes, it is.
Right.
Because I think it is. But I thought, well, I'm just making a comment. So I try to ask open questions.
Right.
Like, you know, because I don't want to always, you know, to have it sort of leaded, but I want to find out, is what I'm thinking valid? I know some people say they feel like AI is just AI slop. Maybe because you're asking bad questions. I don't know.
Yes, some of it is, right? But I
don't know if all of it is. But I mean, it seems like when I ask the questions I ask, it comes with pretty fucking good answers.
Right. And often like with resources and stuff to look up.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, I was making a comment. So I think it sounds pretty reasonable. Especially agree with me, so I guess, you know, I think it's this, and he goes, you are very valid. I'm like, oh, thank you.
You're very smart, and this is a great way to ask this question.
Yeah.
So, supported by a broad range of social science. While it is not the sole factor, the rise of statism and hereditary hierarchy is a valid argument that contributed to the emergence of monotheism from polytheistic systems. As societies grew into more complex, centralized states, the concept of a single, all-powerful deity mirrored and reinforced the authority of a centralized hierarchical government.
See, that's what I thought, something kind of like that. Because what I was trying to do for I'm going to be writing my book, and I've got to start more in the older stuff and then get down. But I was thinking, I never really thought, I know monotheism came from polytheism, but what was the factors that pushed it or motivated it? And so I try to think about the time it happened. I thought, well, it happens after the state is already happening. So it can't directly be just the state. I knew it had to be something different. That's when I realized, oh, see, the leader takes power and then they give it to their undeserving children.
Right.
Which is hierarchy, hereditary hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, so then they try to justify their hereditary hierarchy because they are God-given or whatever.
Yeah, like even if you said like the king who won the throne through conquest or
through conquest,
what have you. Yeah, and maybe they are a particularly good ruler because of what they've had to deal with, but then their kids had none of that.
And they act like complete fucking, you know, selfish fucking assholes, you know, because they never had to work for fucking shit their whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
They've lived in opulence, and so they feel like they're a deity.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you
Or the
see,
other person had to fight for their shit, you know? I'm
yeah,
making a comment. I thought about that because at first my thought is monotheism probably relates to state run, you know,
mhm,
starting. But that no, it's like 1,000 years after. So it can't be.
right, right,
But 1,000 years after is a long time for hereditary religion to become the norm.
right. Yeah, it's fail son after fail son after fail
Right.
son.
Right. So then then they no longer are the warrior, right? Their great 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 granddad was a warrior. They're nothing. They
Yeah,
had, you know,
they just
or
inherited the
whatever, hundreds of generations or even many generations of sitting on their ass and doing absolutely nothing.
yeah, having servants serve them and
Correct.
mistreating slaves and
That's why I realized, oh, so it's that.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Donald Trump. It's someone who's just
yeah,
been handed fucking everything,
or
and they
worse,
think, "Yeah, I need to be
Eric
the
Trump,
king,
right? Like,
right? I need to be the king."
yeah, yeah, it's even, like Donald Trump, but then Donald Trump's kid, you
Well,
know,
could
like
right, exactly, you know, Eric, you know, goes
that's right.
or,
Or
you know, the
Don
other
Jr. or whatever.
yeah, exactly. That really hasn't done absolutely fucking nothing, and somehow they're like, "Oh, he's gonna run the party." How? He's literally done nothing.
Yeah,
But see,
that's
that's what I
right.
was saying. I realized, but it's justified because of this whole hierarchy and monotheistic thinking,
Yeah,
which is basically just a support of men and hierarchy.
for sure.
So that's why I realized, oh, it came to me. That's what it is. And I checked and AI is like, oh yeah, that's very good. I was like, fuck yeah. I fucking thought so because it to me it just made sense because I was trying to think it did at times that it happened and then what was going on at that time. I was trying to think why did it happen then?
Right.
Why did it happen around 4,000 or just under that? You know, that it really starts to, and then and it starts small and it doesn't really do real well. And all of a sudden it gets younger, about 3,000, and then it's just fucking gangbusters.
Right.
So I was trying to think, like, why did it do that? You know?
Mhm.
So, anyways, you keep reading.
Sociologists like Max Weber propose that as societies evolved from smaller, decentralized groups into large, complex states with centralized rule, their religious beliefs shifted to mirror this new hierarchical social order. The supreme singular authority of a single deity offered a powerful divine justification for the absolute power of monarchs and emperors. Yeah.
Right? Doesn't that like just make sense?
Yeah, that's right. This was especially evident in ancient polytheistic systems where deities were used to justify the social order, such as a caste system. The eventual shift towards ethical monotheism, as Weber noted in his analysis of ancient Judaism, allowed for a moral standard that transcended existing social hierarchies, but in many cases, monotheistic faiths were still used to support the ruling class.
Right. So that's like I said, I started to realize these things were symbiotic. It's not like people say that, you know, the religion, you know, was invented to lie. Well, monotheism probably was
Right,
for
right.
damn sure, because it's these undeserving, you know, Trump kids, you know, that think that they too just should deserve a crown for not doing anything.
Because God says that this is the rightful family or
A
whatever, right?
rightful thing, right?
Yeah,
Which is
for sure.
also, I feel like, what happens in to me, Marxist Leninists, when they say the dictatorship of the proletariat. And then I'm like, well, who gets to be this supposed dictator? Well, it's the best of the people. And I asked him, well, who fucking decided? You guys vote on that? Oh
Nope.
no, we
Nope.
don't vote on it. They just say they are. I'm like,
Well,
well,
that seems freaking.
I'm already hating it. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't even get to vote who's the best. You
I
just
don't.
they decide.
Yeah, that's right.
What the fuck? Oh,
I have a hard time trusting people who just say they have our best interests at heart.
no shit. Especially when they start killing everybody they fucking disagrees. Like that
Yeah,
really
that's
starts being
right.
what the fuck.
Yeah,
Holy
for
shit.
sure.
I think that, yeah, no. Because I mean, just imagine a mind that thinks it's never wrong. That's a
Yeah,
mind that is already showing it's wrong.
yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
I can do all the things and I'll do perfect. No, you won't. Fuck you. No, you
And
won't.
and then give it the power of the military and the state, and
Yeah, and then kill all dissent.
yeah, and then they just they start murdering anybody who disagrees, and you've got
Well,
a
and
pretty bad
then
system.
yeah, and then of course, then just like religion, start lying and not saying when the truth is really happening in front of our eyes. You're not.
Yeah,
That's not what you're seeing.
yeah,
Yes, I know that people are being tortured and murdered, but that's not. Those are not people.
yeah,
That goes back to Damien step one. All people are dignity beings.
yep, that's right.
Yeah. Once you, because to me, that's why I say, once you start seeing the world that way, how can you act that way? Really?
Yeah,
If you saw the world as all dignity beings, how could you say, well, there has to be a dictatorship over us and that they get to kill people they decide they don't like? What
yeah,
the fuck?
doesn't work.
No. Keep reading.
All right, centralized authority. A state-backed monotheistic religion offered the ruling class immense control. By promoting a singular, exclusive god, monarchs could consolidate their power and enforce their authority. This centralization of religious power often came at the expense of local cults and tribal gods, which were then either suppressed or reinterpreted as lesser entities like saints or demons, providing stability for large empires. Monotheism was politically useful for emperors attempting to unify vast, diverse territories. The Roman Emperor Constantine, for example, saw Christianity's monotheistic framework as a way to unify a crumbling empire. Harvard Kennedy School research further indicates that the adoption of monotheistic religions had a significant impact on the length of reigns and the geographical size of early empires, suggesting it promoted socio-political stability. Anti-hierarchy anarchism. Anarchism, for Damien, is an ethical conclusion. One can't just leave anarchism unless they leave the ethical framework of humanity. Being anti-hierarchical is a humanitarian, humanistic support of ethics. Morals are how you choose to be, but ethics is how you treat or interact with others. Damien wants not hierarchy now for a no hierarchy future. Damien doesn't focus on saying no state and no capitalism as his primary focus. While Damien likes saying he's an anti-capitalist and puts down capitalism often, but rarely professes anti-statism. Damien says no hierarchy anarchism. No hierarchy anarchism or anti-hierarchy anarchism as the anarchism he champions within his socialist anarchist persuasion. No hierarchy means no state, no capitalism, but also no hierarchy of resources, no hierarchy of land, no hierarchy of family, no hierarchy of age, no hierarchy of race, no hierarchy of class, no hierarchy of gender, no hierarchy of sexuality, etc. Not hierarchy now means being as anti-hierarchical as we can now, regardless of the hierarchical society or systems we are currently oppressed under. To become the change and this prefiguration of the no hierarchy anarchism future we struggle for, stars in our ways of relating to the here and now. AI overview. Anti-hierarchy anarchism is a core tenet of all anarchism, advocating for the rejection of all forms of involuntary, coercive, and vertical power structures, such as the state and capitalism. It proposes replacing these systems with horizontal, voluntary, and cooperative associations based on shared responsibility and equal freedom for all individuals. The goal is a society organized around mutual aid and solidarity, free from the domination of one person or group over another. Anti-hierarchy anarchism is fundamentally anti-authoritarian, opposing any person or group that holds power over another. It calls for the dismantling of all social, political, and economic hierarchies that are seen as inherently oppressive and harmful. A central belief is that true freedom cannot coexist with inequality, and therefore liberation requires the elimination of all forms of domination. Anarchists believe humans are naturally cooperative and that a stateless society can be organized through voluntary cooperation and mutual aid. It advocates for a society organized through voluntary horizontal associations where individuals have equal say in decisions that affect them. AI overview, classism, and monotheism. I didn't mention anything, I didn't comment anywhere there because there's nothing I can say against that. That's
Well,
it.
I mean, feel free to comment.
No,
So did you like how I framed it?
yeah, I like that. Like the no hierarchy thing is the solid ground that we build the rest on, right?
Right. That's how I see it. Is that I feel like everyone focuses, and I'm not saying that that's why I said that's well, I do focus on other stuff.
Right.
It's not like I don't ever do that, and I do sometimes say no state. I just my point is that those are to me abstractions to the real fucking problem.
Hmm.
If we focus on and just hammer home, it's hierarchy, it's hierarchy, it's hierarchy. If we eliminate this fucking one thing, hierarchy,
Yeah.
what do you eliminate? One thing in the world, hierarchy. If we
Yeah.
eliminated hierarchy, man, life would be way the fuck better.
Yeah. It makes me think of conversations I've had with people who don't understand that aspect of anarchism, where they'll be like, "Well, if you're anti-state, then you can still have capitalism," and I say, "Well, I'm anti-hierarchy, so we can't have capitalism. We can't have any of these things, like including the
Right.
state,
Like I
including
was saying,
capitalism."
can't have the land is all mine.
Right? You can't have that.
You can't, the resources are all this what lake, it's all mine.
Yeah,
You
it,
can't fucking do that.
you can't do that. Yeah, and once you see anarchism as anti hierarchy, then you have to acknowledge that like those people who call themselves anarcho-capitalists are misguided,
Yes.
and anyone who sees themselves as what's the libertarian, that's the term.
Yeah.
For some reason it escaped me. Anyone who calls himself a libertarian has to be anti-hierarchy in order to be truly libertarian. You
Well, I try to say that no one's an anarchist unless they're anti-hierarchy.
Yeah,
Anyone who says they're an anarchist and don't also agree with anti-hierarchy are literally to me not an anarchist.
yeah, like that's
You
kind of
may
the
be
whole
something else,
thing.
I don't know, but you're not a fucking anarchist.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's the whole core of it as far as I can tell.
Right. And so that's why I like to focus on it, because also I feel like it really cuts through the bullshit. And I look at it, that one person realized that his authoritarian communism probably is not the right way to go.
Right, right.
Because when you really realize how can you be against anti-hierarchy unless you're literally the monster?
If you're the person, yeah, like there are people who profess to have communist views, but who are in favor of like hierarchy because they think they deserve to be on top.
Right. Or they're sickly that they've so bent by society, which they think they're outside of, so bent by society, they think that you always have to have a master.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, yeah, to me that's gross.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm not
yeah.
gonna nah,
I don't accept that.
no. And what one person's quote, and me, I've said many times, we have a long history, which I know a lot about,
Yeah,
where it's always been terrible.
yeah,
Look at the fact that 6,000 years, 5,000 years, somewhere around there, there's a deity of justice that says take care of the poor people and the widows and the children,
right.
because obviously someone is not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like ever since like these hierarchies were developed, that means that somebody is suffering unjustly.
Exactly. And I feel
So,
like that's exactly what us anarchists understand, and everyone else doesn't. They're like, "Oh, yeah, I could never be anarchist." Well, then you're just not an ethical human being, or you don't believe in humanity. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, you just like people seeing people suffer, or you expect that that's going to happen no matter what? Like,
Yeah, that's literally gross
yeah,
to me. Yeah, no.
no.
Don't get any of that on my clothes.
That's right. I have to take a shower afterwards.
Really, I'm fucking seriously.
Yeah,
It's really fucking the fact that you can think that way is both sad and seriously disgusting. Okay,
yeah.
let's keep going.
Okay. Uh, so AI overview, classism and monotheism. There's a complex and sometimes contradictory relationship between monotheism and classism. While core teachings in Abrahamic religions condemn class based prejudice and emphasize the equality of all believers before God, The historical and social development of these faiths has often perpetuated class distinctions.
Right. In other words, they lied.
Right.
Like we already talked about. They're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're totally against class, but class is wonderful. We want a king, and God's the top, and then the man's the top of the woman, and what?
You love thy neighbor, except for that guy.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the relationship between monotheism, classism is a paradoxical one. The core theology of many monotheistic faiths promotes equality and justice, establishing a foundation to critique and dismantle class-based oppression. However, the human and institutional dimensions of these religions have frequently failed to live up to these principles, reflecting and reinforcing the very societal hierarchies they were meant to transcend.
Right. And we all know because that's all they do. They say, that's what I was saying. They say one thing and yet they do the other.
Yeah, that's right.
Which what I would call lying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The social and historical realities of classism in monotheistic societies. Despite ideals, classism has persisted and been reinforced within societies that adhere to monotheistic faiths. Religious and class affiliation. Sociological studies in the US shows that religious denominations are often stratified along class lines. In Christianity, mainline Protestants tend to attract middle and upper class members, while conservative and evangelical congregations have higher working class and lower middle class membership. Similar class divisions exist among different Jewish congregations, and social status can affect participation in Jewish communal life.
Right. So they're still doing hierarchy even in religion, which is supposed to be this great thing. We're all the same. Look, it's just lies on top of lies.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion.